Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our detailed investment notes session today, March 19th, where we'll cover important updates. Well, actually, the Hong Kong stock market has continued its sharp upward trend this week, showcasing impressive gains. History has revealed much about market fluctuations, but all we hear throughout the day is the same familiar mantra, rising in the east while declining in the west. At this moment, our captivating story centers on the dramatic rise and eventual fall of both the east and the west. That's right. Even if this trend of words is ultimately achieved, the question remains whether it is genuinely realized or not. We can discuss this topic in greater detail with Ryan during the second half of this program.
These terms are associated with both enjoying seafood and engaging in playing cards. Interestingly, they share the same meanings in both Western and Eastern cultures.
But the trend of the Hang Seng Index today is actually a little bit more complicated. It seems to be a resistance, and then it seems to be clamped up. I don't know if it will break the top. What do you want? Yes, it's indeed the recent high of 24,000, which is the highest we've seen in the last 2 years. 24,072.4874, today's peak. Up 31, not 30 points. After that, the market turnover was 271.8 billion. Let's begin by discussing some of the current market trends in detail first, and then we will delve into our main theme for today, which, interestingly, shares similarities with what we've discussed. Hey, the current trend is that the RRSI is 70. Then I just noticed that this position is actually a small top, not a small double. Is it a double top? The item is broken, so it doesn't count. What's wrong?
It's broken. Yes, it's true that it's not forming a double top pattern. So can you apply the golden ratio to this particular corner? The golden ratio can indeed be drawn to today's high position. Here, today's high position is, please refer to the reference point that you can observe in the chart. But ultimately, it doesn't really matter. This is merely for reference purposes. Will it continue to rise? I believe everyone will wonder about this question, right? Look at the technical level. The next level is 25,000 points.
At the start of this year, you mentioned the target price, which has now been reached. What's today's price?
March 19th, yes. Yes, there are still a few trading days before March 19th, which is less than 10 trading days. How many more months are there? Hey, I genuinely believe you are quite a fortunate individual, so don't dwell on it too much. Just focus on enjoying your meal first. Yes, there are indeed some reports indicating that the current valuation may be seen as high, but typically the market tends not to experience a significant correction unless there is a widespread bullish sentiment across the entire investment community. In the past, the market was always bullish and everyone was saying that the Hang Seng Index would reach 50,000 points. Some people were saying that although some valuations were expensive, they were not important. It was like that when you got some reports, the market would usually reach its peak soon, but it has not peaked yet. In fact, many people haven't yet. Investing in Hong Kong stocks has been strong recently, with retail investors somewhat sidelined. However, the key factor to consider is foreign capital, which has not yet significantly entered the Hong Kong stock market. As for the crowd trade now, for the time being, it is at the 7th level. However, some reports say that some analysts are telling us that the market is still in a state of overutilization. In the past, approximately 90% of the fund managers likely invested sevenfold, while the proportion of those doing so was around 40%. However, this method of investment represented the largest channel available for fund distribution. However, the proportions have decreased significantly. Therefore, for these specific analyses, if you truly wait until everyone has relaxed completely, then the results will be invalid or essentially useless for drawing conclusions. Well, let's actually take a moment to discuss stocks in more detail. For the time being, focusing on stocks is akin to investing in a global fund, which unfortunately is not the most advisable or affordable place to begin one's investment journey. Well, of course, we can all clearly see that the Hang Seng Index, the CSI 300 Index, and the Science and Technology Index are consistently outperforming all major global indices in recent times. But the problem lies in the fact that many people are afraid to enter the market. They lack a strong belief or compelling reason to confidently invest in this sector.
Yeah. I'm actually still feeling a bit unsure and not that confident. I believe that my personal opinion about why this row is currently so tight or has risen significantly is important, but I have to say that it's not a good situation. I will certainly remember how sharp the decline was over the past 3 years.
Please provide me with an indication. You have no obligations, you eat, chat with others, but my MPF hasn't returned to Hong Kong. To switch to Hong Kong stocks, you need to acknowledge that neither of us has any. Yes. When you want to switch to Hong Kong stocks, usually the Hong Kong stocks have risen. When you're having lunch, ask your classmates, your colleagues and classmates. Usually they all have the same opinion. Ask them and brag a little. If everyone agrees, then you can switch to this advertisement. MPF is a relatively long-term product. Hey, my colleagues who don't usually pay attention to advertising, I'm going back to MPFF with you. Actually, we may need to be cautious in this market, but if you ask me at this moment, I still maintain the target of 25,000 for this quarter. But your question is very good. How much is 20,000 in 3 months? It's uncertain if there are 10 or 8 days left. Achieving a net return over 9 months is unclear and may reflect trends from 2020 and 2021, which involved an initial clamp followed by a gradual rise. Ultimately, the outcome will depend on your personal decisions and your own MPF. I wonder if the situation will turn around and I will fall back to Hong Kong stocks. I bought some Hong Kong stocks. In fact, I did not clear out my Hong Kong stocks. They are my MPF. To be more specific, some of my MPFs are moved to Hong Kong. Well, I have made the decision to move some of my investment positions that were originally related to European stocks, primarily because the performance of the European economy has been quite disappointing lately. As a result of this situation, it's evident that many stocks, particularly certain luxury brands, are performing poorly regardless of the specific category or type of luxury products they offer. Well, in fact, the sales performance of the channel is all rather mediocre overall. The more you discuss luxury items, the more it highlights a significant trend problem. However, if everyone in the market is struggling, with bags and watches also underperforming, then it suggests a much larger issue at play. There's also an observable trend indicating that certain mid to high-priced luxury items, such as those from Louis Vuitton, are increasingly accessible to ordinary items that well-paid workers can readily afford. In contrast, items from Hermes are typically purchased by wealthy individuals rather than merely high-earning professionals.
Oh, okay, yes, what is it?
It's indeed true. It's true. Just how much does a luxurious Birkin bag actually cost? 200,000.
I'm uncertain about the quality of friends I have with the goods.
The second-hand price is under 200,000, excluding matching goods. What?
No, some don't.
The basic price refers specifically to the basic model's price. Yeah, because we are discussing this. Yes, but high-income dads like you can afford LV without matching goods, and it's only tens of thousands or $20,000 for a bag wrapped in loose paper?
It's all about the bag. I've been eagerly awaiting the new apps that appeared after our last conversation, so let's check their prices.
Xiaomi has reached new heights. No, but these are cheaper than I thought. The current price of LV is, okay. In short, its price is something that people with a relatively good income can afford. The most serious impact is on luxury. For instance, the table clearly indicates that Omega Group is part of the Swatch Group, and additionally, other brands under the Swatch Group are facing challenges first. You can check the Morgan Stanley report, and I will visit Facebook if possible. Interestingly, the other brands that fall under the Swatch category and have experienced a significant decline are, in fact, Rolex. Many of my friends know that it is very difficult to get a Rolex. It is very difficult to get a genuine product, but it is not a PP product. The PP product is for the rich, such as the powder filer, which is a luxury product of that level. Hey, the system is still selling well and there is improvement. Yes. Actually, the base number is low. We only sell 70,000 pieces a year, that's right. So what exactly does this comprehensive system reveal to us? It indicates that a wide range of digestibility has not returned, particularly since these brands are predominantly sourced from Europe. The European economy is very worrying, so I dare not put too much influence on the configuration of my APF. Even the channels in Europe are less than those in Greater China, even maybe less, but it is similar to Hong Kong stocks. The Greater China region focuses on Hong Kong stocks, emphasizing the importance of liquidity. For MPF or personal investments, A shares cannot be purchased. I won't buy A shares because I believe their liquidity is insufficient, despite purchasing stocks.
The melting process, referred to as a circuit breaker, will halt when it reaches a certain level, avoiding surprise. Even if you open multiple shops to support it, the situation may still stop again, and you shouldn't be caught off guard. I'm going to make you a bit angry, but I sincerely hope that you can't express that emotion with just one statement. Because today, when we kicked off the show, it wasn't even 5 minutes before we had 150 people clapping enthusiastically. What was the speaker's comment? It was about Xiaomi. It was clear that he was referring to Xiaomi. But why did he mention that particular brand? In fact, Xiaomi has already released its financial results. The fourth quarter results of last year were announced, and the revenue, well, everyone expected that the revenue increased by 49% to 109 billion yuan. The profit margin has soared to an impressive high of 90%. Additionally, everyone is reporting that the revenue growth rate astonishingly reached 8.995 billion yuan in the previous year. As we have mentioned in previous reports, the reason for its huge increase in profits is not only due to its strong business, but also the recovery of some investment income. The investment income reached $2,578 billion, a year-on-year increase of 314%. Well, leaving aside certain aspects of investment income, its operating profit amounted to 6.312 billion. which reflects a year-on-year decline. However, it fell back to a concerning 42%. Interestingly, some individuals have raised questions regarding the sudden increase in profits during the previous quarter. They are wondering whether this remarkable return could be attributed to the substantial subsidies that were provided by the government during that period. Could it be possible that certain subsidies from the central government, particularly those aimed at mobile phones, have contributed to an increase in sales? During the relevant press conference, specifically the one held to announce the company's performance, President Liu Weibing did indeed mention this issue. He referred to projections for the year 2027, highlighting the potential implications of these subsidies on future sales and overall market performance. The cars will soon be out of the deep sea. 27.
This year's May, eh? It's the 25th month, eh? It's 2 years away.
But it's too difficult for him to go overseas, but he has to cope with the delivery. Sorry, it doesn't matter to you, but if I'm in such a hurry, will his overseas shipment include Hong Kong?
No, haha, it won't be 27 years for sure, unless Hong Kong turns to left.
Hey, is it really that difficult to turn from left to right?
It's also a crucial production line. I must arrange for timely delivery to Thailand. Why should I keep providing my assistance to Thailand in this situation? It's like Tesla. No Thai versions of Tesla's 2 models exist. There are so many markets all over the world, including Australia, Britain, Malaysia, and Hong Kong.
It's truly unfortunate that they choose to ignore you, but ultimately it's a strategic business decision, yes. No, I am very disappointed. Maybe in 2 years I can save up the money to buy this pink Xiaomi SU7. But there is a queue, so it may not be available by then. Ha ha ha. But yes. But yes, it was recently, about 10 days ago, when I talked about Xiaomi's early days. Xiaomi has successfully achieved a remarkable delivery volume of 200,000 Xiaomi cars, aligning perfectly with its ambitious target of 200,000 units just as anticipated. This year, we have already talked about raising the full year delivery target for 2025 to 350,000 aircraft, which is 50,000 more than the original target. I think it is too low because of the number in the fourth quarter of last year.
Actually, he delivers 23,000 aircraft every month. I informed you that the salary was 350,000 a year, but in reality, 30,000 is insufficient for living. Increasing the monthly aircraft production by 30,000 is quite challenging, contrary to what some might think. For small companies, that is, for Xiaomi, yes, it is necessary for you to increase your production capacity. Well, the essential key to Xiaomi's success actually lies in its approach to the automotive sector. First of all, the performance of their distribution channels is exceptionally impressive and meticulously executed. Furthermore, the business operations within each segment have been thoroughly and effectively delivered.
Well, yes, that's right. In fact, its total annual revenue from smartphones is $365.9 billion. As for smartphones, the total sales were $110 billion to $191.8 billion, which is a 20% year-on-year increase. As for consumer goods, the total sales were $104.1 billion, which is a 30% year-on-year increase. Internet services generated 34.1 billion yuan, while smart cars and other sectors brought in 32.8 billion yuan. Well, what are your thoughts on the gross profit margin figure?
Hey, gross profit margin. Hey, the automotive business, they haven't announced the gross profit margin of the automotive business. It's about 20%, 20.2, 10.1. Hey, 18.5%, it's 18.5%, it's 18.5%. Because it encompasses various car-related businesses, including charging stations and additional services. Oh, you truly mean the entire car itself. Unfortunately, I don't know anything about it. Well, no matter what happens, it shouldn't end up being too expensive overall. To be completely honest, it's usually best to purchase a complete vehicle since the materials utilized in the frame vehicle are actually quite sufficient for most needs. Yes, that is. According to the disassembly experts in the mainland, yes, that is their expert opinion. The average price of their cars is around 230,000, based on figures from the fourth quarter of last year. Hey, purchasing a car this year is incredibly important for me because throughout the first 3 quarters and potentially the entire year, the automobile industry represents a significant 9% of our overall business revenue. However, if we focus solely on the fourth quarter, it represents just 15%. In fact, we can anticipate that the proportion of the company's automotive business will continue to grow increasingly over time, and I strongly believe that this trend will have a significantly positive impact on enhancing and boosting the company's overall revenue moving forward. This one is the first one. But this is also because in reality, I genuinely don't believe that Xiaomi is a viable option for my long-term investment strategy, especially considering the stock price at this particular moment in time. While I may purchase it now for a brief period, I don't think it is worth holding on to for the long term at this moment, as it seems too expensive relative to its potential value.
Well, it's about valuation and it's too expensive.
Yes, the business you are channeling truly needs to have the total items counted accurately, that is, the precise number of items involved. Number of cars sold? 1 car, 2 cars, 3 cars. Multiple cell phones and vacuum cleaners? Well, if you want to count all these businesses, your imagination is actually limited. A car with a 20% gross profit is super high. In fact, 30% or 40% is even higher. If you want it, it won't be higher. So in your case, these businesses are not enough to drive the channel. Apologies, but the current number of completed transactions is insufficient to significantly elevate its valuation. The market tends to shy away from assigning high long-term valuations to purely practical industrial-grade businesses. So the question remains, where exactly will the valuation settle in the future? It's simply a matter of creative imagination. If you want to know how can I connect with you, what is your place called? The ecosystem is crucial for Xiaomi, which aims to sell related products. However, its internet services only contribute about 5% of revenue, falling short of the desired 10% in the long term, indicating a need for improvement in this area. This is a business I always talk about. The income from Apple AAPL is about 20%. In fact, it is about making money first, because first you can attract your fans and find people. I use Xiaomi for everything. Or I use the same brand for everything. First of all, I can facilitate my service, which is a common thing. Secondly, the actual cost of the channel itself is low. The development cost is high, but the continuous operating cost is low. And if your gross profit margin is high, this can drive profitability. Currently, Apple's price-to-earnings ratio stands at approximately 300 times, while Xiaomi's is significantly lower at around 40 times. Hey, after all this extensive discussion, are you willing to proceed with investing the remaining funds into Xiaomi to further expand the channel? It's not that it can't rise, it's not that it has reached its peak, it's $65, which means it can even rise by about 10%. In fact, I genuinely don't think it's particularly difficult, but it definitely requires a sustained and consistent push. Simply selling cars and mobile phones is not enough to succeed.
Well, on the contrary, I noticed that they discussed the same topic repeatedly, and I wanted to ask for your opinion on this matter. Indeed, it was Lu Weibin who stated that Xiaomi's electric cars have gained significant popularity, a fact that is truly undeniable. The presence of numerous people frequently entering and exiting through the door will significantly stimulate foot traffic within the shopping mall. This increased flow of potential customers will make the shopping mall management more inclined to rent the space to Xiaomi, as it benefits their overall business. The rent is considerably cheaper in certain areas, which has allowed for a proliferation of Xiaomi stores. Recently, the company has strategically relocated to more prime locations to attract customers. Indeed, if you visit Shenzhen's bustling shopping malls, you will already find several well-established Xiaomi stores. It didn't happen before. Lu Weibin also disclosed his ambitious plans to significantly expand the company's presence by hoping to add approximately 400 new Xiaomi physical stores, each boasting an area of more than 500 square meters across the mainland this year. Furthermore, he anticipates the establishment of around 10,000 additional Xiaomi stores in various international markets over the next 5 years, enhancing the brand's global footprint. Why would I specially pick this one out to ask you? Given my previous observations of various businesses, such as restaurants, I've come to believe that if they aim to expand too rapidly and open numerous locations in different areas, it might not be a sustainable or wise decision for the overall success of the business. This rush for expansion can lead to operational challenges and quality issues, don't you think?
Let's see. If you are talking about restaurants, it is true because this involves management. Well, the problem is especially the management of cash flow. Every restaurant has a sales target you want to achieve. It is very important, but for Xiaomi, are stores the main channel for collecting sales? Does it rely on the stores to do that? Well, actually, it's not about sales. For them, marketing is more important. Well, these large displays are called billboards. Yes, you can order the car using your mobile phone or go home to order it. Yes, it makes no difference if you go and order it. Yes. It's the same with mobile phones. Like Apple, if you open a flagship store but you don't have a flagship store, will your sales drop sharply? Well, not necessarily. Yes, so the nature is slightly different, but I am not really too worried about opening stores. Alas, they opened too quickly, too hastily. I like Xiaomi because one very important aspect is that their cash flow is exceptionally strong and sufficient.
I just wanted to ask you this important question. Is its current cash flow situation sustainable based on the latest report? I recall that in the past, I thoroughly analyzed Xiaomi's cash flow alongside you, and we spent a significant amount of time reading and discussing the related announcement together. Very good.
When we examine Xiaomi's cash flow, what specific indicators or metrics do we typically focus on when analyzing cash flow trends and performance? Cash flow depends on cash flow. What do you usually look at? Just look at the cash flow from operating activities. Hey, it really doesn't matter if I haven't had the chance to cut it yet. You can certainly ask about it. If you take a look at last year's comprehensive annual report, you'll see that its cash flow from operating activities was 39.2 billion, which represented a slight decrease on a year-on-year basis, but it still managed to maintain a high and impressive level overall. Because compared to 41.3 billion last year, it increased quarter-on-quarter in the fourth quarter. Okay, I'll talk about this later. Is the cash flow from investment activities. The amount has remained around 35.3 billion for 2 years. Last year's total was 35.1 billion. Is all the cash flow from their investment activities a net outflow? Why? Originally, he made a standard payment, so he simply wanted to inform me about the profit for this period. Also remember that we uploaded our channel video recently. I've taught everyone how to read and interpret the balance sheet. Yes. Look at the balance sheet. How much is the time deposit you wrote down? 58.5 billion in cash as a time deposit. How much is this number? 58.5 billion to do the work, to do it in a tight schedule. If I learn from the god of cookery, I won't know how to collect interest later.
Yes, haha, yes.
Well, you mean he has plenty of cash? So you asked me the right question. Will the country's development be too fast? If you let this go, how will you survive by relying on cash flow in restaurants and supermarkets? You're right, the cash flow is not good. It's a big problem. It's like there was a restaurant in Hong Kong when we were young a long time ago. There was a yellow chain restaurant that went bankrupt because of its rapid expansion. This kind of situation often occurred in the past because you didn't have enough cash flow. Well, but now Xiaomi has amassed a substantial amount of cash on hand, and it does not solely rely on these shops to generate immediate cash, but rather to create consistent cash flow. Yes. So this problem is not really that big. I am really not worried about it.
Well, I remember that I seem to have seen a girl say that we don't have money. I remember that she seemed to have a press conference talking about what it's like to have money. This is true. Yes, yeah, as for Xiaomi, you can all pay attention to it. But recently, I've been talking about the sidetrack a little bit. It seems that Lei Jun and Dong Mingzhu have a grudge against each other. What is it? I haven't studied it, and you haven't studied it either. Tell everyone. A few years ago, prominent business figures Jack Ma and Dong Mingzhu participated in multiple CCTV programs where they discussed their views with Lei Jun. They confidently stated that if he could achieve sales figures comparable to Gree's in just 5 years, then he could engage in that conversation.
Join me to learn how to purchase an air conditioner. Discussing Xiaomi air conditioner now.
Yes, it's definitely me now, though I honestly don't know why.
Xiaomi air conditioners are reportedly selling well.
It seems that it is not yet the case. The ranking seems to be 4th. Since it is all made in China, should the same channel be OEM?
Do you produce the whole production line?
No, so I won't be fooled by Dong Mingzhu. However, it's important to note that these are merely rumors. Nonetheless, you can explore how vibrant their social scenes are and how strong their brand loyalty has become. I have a colleague who works at Gree, which is a well-known brand, and he was actually assigned to work overseas for an extended period.
I'm feeling quite worried now. I'm going to go shopping again. It's so annoying. I always don't know if Xiaomi is available when I want to buy electrical appliances. I hope you can buy Xiaomi in Hong Kong. It's easy to buy vacuum cleaners. It's so convenient. I'm so annoyed. I'll go to Bazaar to look for Xiaomi. It's available in Singapore. Sometimes I just pick it up every day and say, okay, just pick it up at random. That's it. Yes, this reflects that Xiaomi's brand loyalty is high because everyone is a little worried about this because its brand loyalty is about cost effectiveness. Well, it may not be cheap, but at least it is cost effective. Yes, you have to maintain a gross profit margin and it can't be too high. Yes. This is also one of the reasons why I don't use Xiaomi products very much in my daily life. Hey there, I have some Xiaomi electrical appliances, including a car pump and a water dispenser. I distinctly remember you mentioning those cat water dispensers. Yes, that's right. I actually have a couple of those stylish and functional dispensers for my cats. It is cost effective, hence it's beneficial. Well, but there are some things that I prefer to pick something expensive and reliable. Yes, for example, a washing machine. I wouldn't go out and buy a Xiaomi. Xiaomi doesn't seem to have it. Oh no. But I won't buy a heater for now, but I am interested in it.
On the contrary, it's mainly because the overall cost of replacement is excessively high. Yes, that is correct. You have to invest time and resources to find suitable replacements for the staff again. However, I want to clarify that when you discuss the high cost of replacement, Lu Weiming also mentioned a similar point recently. I just came across it. Now, he plans to enter the high-end market and upgrade some specific large appliance services, for example, to enhance overall customer experience and satisfaction. Air conditioner installation process is outlined. Like some overseas departments developing in the same way, they will look at Southeast Asia and Monaco and try to develop there. Their strategy is correct. I just don't think that feeding Xiaomi is unacceptable just because I don't pick too much Xiaomi. Their strategy will not be affected.
I may not agree, but in fact its so-called high-cost performance positioning is very suitable for the Southeast Asian market. But what I am worried about is that some things will bring some relatively big challenges to them. Yes, this is precisely what truly matters in the long run. If you aim to elevate your original cost-effective brand image to a more premium status, it can be quite challenging. For instance, while Xiaomi currently boasts a Leica, it's important to recognize that others like Maijunlong also utilize it. Of course, this highlights the competitive landscape we navigate. You need to identify spokespeople to facilitate your self-improvement. Regarding this marketing effort, he unfortunately does not execute any of it effectively. Yes. Well, you don't necessarily have to state that you will fail if you pursue this, but it often takes a considerable amount of time to successfully build an instant brand series. For example, you might argue that its market positioning in the past wasn't particularly strong, but after Lenovo acquired the company, it surprisingly did not experience any significant depreciation in value, meaning its situation did not worsen over time. But it is difficult for you to reach a higher level. There are indeed numerous brands available in the market. Consequently, it can be quite challenging to transition from a regular brand to a higher-end premium brand. I'm more knowledgeable about cars. Where in the world can you get off the bus? Only Toyota. In fact, many brands want to try to imitate Toyota's approach, but it is very difficult. Hey, it's Honda's popular Corolla, and hey, it's also Nissan's luxurious Infiniti model. You seem to be staring at the black question mark. That indicates his brand is not achieving the desired success. That's it. When speaking urgently, you call from a higher position rather than a lower one, which is generally easier to manage. Oh, that's right, you are referring to Toyota. Yes, Toyota is indeed one of the rare companies that has successfully developed both a high-end luxury brand and a widely popular, accessible brand for the masses.
When discussing cars, if you refer to them as low-end versus high-end models, I must admit that I'm not very familiar with cars at all. Yes. Is it generally considered low-end before the year 1211?
If you really mean the brand, BYD is still positioned as a mass market brand.
The level has not yet reached a high-end standard, and the positioning is incorrect.
Oh, is this truly a significant issue in Hong Kong? C-Line confirmed the figure was about 300,000 last time. The price of around 300,000 yuan is considered low to medium for cars in Hong Kong.
Well, we just had a conversation about BYD, so now let's take a closer look at its current stock price. In fact, today it has impressively reached 417. Is this a record for the calendar year? Indeed, it marks a historical high for the company. Is it stock number 1211? What factors contribute to today's outstanding performance? If you have been following the news lately, you are likely aware of the recent developments surrounding BYD. Hey, let me share some news with you. It's about the launch of the Super E platform. It says that after charging for 5 minutes, the car can travel 400 kilometers. Then I tell you, wow, charging for 5 minutes can travel 400 kilometers. I don't know how many round trips you have to make if you go back and forth from Hong Kong to Taiwan. It's serious.
Well, let me tell you, the other day, during a TV interview, someone asked me what the concept of this system was. Well, first of all, I will explain. In fact, its parameter is that it charges 1,000 degrees per hour. What does it mean to charge 1,000 degrees per hour? Now, the faster plug-in of Tesla in Hong Kong is the V3 plug-in at 250 degrees. The channel is 4 times the capacity of Tesla's supercharger. Yes, there are preconditions. You don't need to own a Tesla, but the supercharger will reach 250 degrees. Yes, first you need to know the temperature and amount of electricity required under certain circumstances. You can first get 250 degrees, which is controlled by a built-in chip. The use of ultra-high voltage electricity raises safety concerns similar to those associated with BYD. Yes, actually, when it was first announced, I didn't have much detailed information readily available, so I plan to look it up later for a better understanding. Generally speaking, we refer to this technology as flash charging, and the most crucial aspect of flash charging is that you need to significantly increase the current to ensure efficient and rapid charging capabilities. The current is the one on the screen now. That is the ampere. It is called electric current. Voltage multiplied by current is actually equal to power. We all know this, but it is not necessarily the case. Okay, usually flash charging increases the current and fast charging increases the voltage. Well, yes, and the world of mobile phones is delicious. Well, now we increase the current and then the voltage. So, what effect does this situation actually have? In fact, the most obvious consequence is that it will result in significantly higher temperatures, because if you increase the voltage, the entire car will heat up considerably. Conversely, if you only increase the current, it will merely cause the charger to become hot. You need to address the heat dissipation issue. The critical safety issue here is of utmost importance. In fact, every factory is indeed capable of producing high voltage and high current outputs. Well, they are not completely problem-free. The question about flash charging is how do you ensure their safety, or how high is their safety threshold? Now, BYD's shocking degree is that all channel car series or channel closed car series will support a certain speed of flash charging or fast charging. Yes. Just wait patiently for more information to be released before you can make a fair judgment. At this moment, I feel that I do not have enough information to say that it is not safe and the risk of the channel exploding is very high. In fact, this is not rational if you say so. But at least the market has a great expectation right now. But it is not simply a technical breakthrough that is rushing so fast.
And it is indeed a key technology that can be used safely, primarily because when you first discussed it, my initial thought was that it needs to operate quickly while maintaining a constant temperature. I couldn't help but wonder, wow, will it be easy to overheat or malfunction under certain conditions?
Then you might be wondering, what exactly is the E-platform? The E-platform refers to a system that includes an efficient water cooling mechanism for temperature regulation. Well, eating this is just to dissipate heat.
Yes. The charging time and refueling time are as short as each other, but it is true that today the oil and electricity are at the same speed. It is already a gunshot. In short, I have called it 1211. It has been 4 times it came out. The charging time is as short as the refueling time, but it is true. It is true. However, if you aspire to undertake a project like this in the future, it is certainly feasible. I want to emphasize that if you choose to proceed, it is essential to ensure you have an adequate number of charging stations available. This is very familiar and makes logical sense. In reality, at this moment, you lack any detailed information or a clear plan to demonstrate how you intend to acquire these necessary charging piles. Indeed, that is correct. However, he also noted an important detail. He plans to construct over 4,000 flashover voltage storage power stations to enhance energy infrastructure.
Is 4,000 really enough? To be honest, like China is too big. 4,000 is not necessarily not enough, but we still need to evaluate the cost and maintenance of the channel. However, this is not truly a rough estimate. In fact, if you incorporate some dedicated charging networks at this stage, you have already faced a significant disadvantage. Yes, you will lose, especially in overseas markets. Because Tesla has this medicine, you can go and get it first. But when it comes to charging networks, Tesla and most of the EV market are decompressed because there are so many of them. For example, the one in Repulse Bay, I wonder if you have been there.
Repulse Bay Beach is there, and once you enter the car park, everyone says, "You can't look down on me. No, it's too far. I really haven't been there. It's too far. I want to say you can't look down on me. You haven't been to such a high-end place, right? It's not too far, but the car park may have about 60 or 70 spaces. All of them are simply charging piles for electric vehicles.
The station needs to be supercharged first. The focus is on special charging piles. If you say that the charging piles are made by third-party manufacturers, they cannot achieve the same speed as oil and electricity.
Yes. Oh, I want to take another look at Tesla. It's so easy to recognize. Tesla is all this.
There is a larger red and white one specifically designed for special use. All right, please write Tesla on it, okay? Don't take a photo, it will lock your car.
But it's all...
Hey, it seems that the venue is full, yes.
Oh, this beautiful scene is for Tesla to proudly show its family.
Tesla utilizes this space not for parking vehicles, but specifically for supercharging their electric cars. Parking your Tesla may lead to it being locked without charging.
Okay, yes. It's really tasty. But hey, I really want to discuss this particular topic because BYD, after unveiling details about the innovative Super E platform, went on to reveal the exciting electric car models that will be equipped with this platform, including the Tang L, and Han L models. Hey, Tangle and Hanel, for example, the number of people in this system is probably more than 270,000, about 270,000 to 350,000. Well, I had a question at the beginning, which was whether they would not engage in a price war now. On the contrary, they would not engage in a price war at all. Instead, they would return to the basic steps and use their technology to suppress all competition.
That is to say, they provided you with more features or benefits, but the price remains unchanged, sir. Yes. In the back, there is truly no justification for it being sold for 30,000 yuan. Here, the Tang L and the Han L models are priced at nearly 200,000 to 300,000 yuan. If they are essentially the same, it is merely classified as part of the Dynasty series without any significant upgrades or distinctions. Well, he is not positioned at the highest level. The Marine series is higher.
Hey, the price is important to you?
Positioning. Positioning. Market positioning. 24 is equivalent to 2 free foods in Hong Kong, and it's delicious.
Give it to you. I'm not giving it to you. I thought it was giving it to you. I thought it was for buying food. Okay, buy it. Yes, that's right. So you can take a look at BYD again, but it has actually reached a new high now. Hey, what will you do if you need to discuss the stock price? There is no one nearby to provide guidance. You must pay a fee of 200,000 upfront before proceeding. Buying one is akin to purchasing a car, according to some. Buy some for me and get fitness equipment for yourself.
Oh, wow, eat it. Okay. Yes. This situation must wait for his return. He has also started to receive some negative news, saying that he may not have a chance in the Mexican market. That's right, because even China is worried about the outflow of technology and the United States copying its technology.
Well, we can closely observe how BYD performs in the upcoming period next. First and foremost, there are various other news stories today. However, the performance metrics for the 700 series have not been officially announced just yet. Are you asking if I should check it out? No, I already opened it, but I hesitate to delve into it. Are you referring to the latest update, correct? I am not coming out. I am simply sharing the final story. What else is there? Absolutely. Yes. Can we please watch it right away, like right this moment?
Come on and have a look. You must definitely see it.
I'm simply asking today for your attention first, as you won't be able to read it right away while you are actively watching the content.
Let's take a closer look at the quarterly results. Specifically, we will examine the quarters in detail. When you compare the quarterly revenue figures with the overall annual revenue, you can see that there was an increase of 11%, bringing the total to an impressive $172.4 billion in the fourth quarter of last year. Well, if you compare it with the previous quarter, you will see that the total number of orders has notably increased by 3%. I don't recall the market expectations, though. Do you know if you have available funds?
Yes, you can live.
In the fourth quarter of last year, the net profit was $51.3 billion, reflecting a 90% decline year on year, with Enkei's shares dropping by 4%. However, revenue expectations for the fourth quarter exceeded estimates, reaching $168.9 billion, which resulted in a net profit of $54.1 billion, indicating a better than expected outcome. The impressive figure of $54.1 billion has indeed surpassed our initial expectations. Yes, this number is quite substantial. We can clearly observe how they are reviewing the data and forming their projections. Of course, everyone's attention is drawn to one central question. How can we change it, especially since it's linked to this particular DIP set?
Hey there, let's embrace some exciting improvement together.
Access. The DP set is fundamentally the key to understanding how non-profit channels can effectively use this model to significantly boost their own income. But this performance may not be fully reflected in the future because this performance is as of December 31st last year. Yes, that's it. But of course, he needs to give some review and outlook on the market. Yes, if you look at the performance of some of its main products and services, in a few words, it is said that by launching WeChat stores to provide a locked and standardized commodity trading experience, WeChat has greatly improved user engagement and transaction capabilities. Numbers, just search on WeChat. The search volume is growing rapidly. Thanks to the integration of AI capabilities, the relevance and quality of search results have been greatly improved. Their main objective is to leverage AI technology to significantly enhance the reliability and accuracy of search results. Yes, that's correct.
Yes, but there are no numbers.
Well, if we talk about game combinations, is it not how they monetize that is important? Yes, it must be, because they really cannot show any immediate monetization capabilities in the performance of AI. This is actually because there is no way for you to monetize AI. In fact, you haven't thought about AI in the mainland for a long time. Yes. Your performance does not show this.
So, I want to ask, is it because DC is actually something that was discussed at the beginning of the year? Because of this, we may have to wait until next year's report to see it first. Or the market is now chasing the same thing, which is how your artificial intelligence can help your business.
You can say you have artificial intelligence, and it follows you so everyone can expect your income to increase. The missing pieces that contribute to your inner self are actually located quite far away, and it's essential that you work to fill them. Well, the thing that everyone is more concerned about is that the biggest source of their revenue is value-added services. Their value-added services are actually equivalent to their main games, which is their annual revenue, as you can see. I wrote above that their annual revenue from value-added services increased by 7% to $3,192. The 1.2 billion international market game revenue is 58 billion. If you calculate it at a fixed exchange rate, it has increased by 9%. In fact, it is not just the game business. The growth of the game revenue in the domestic market is 10%. That's a total of 139.7 billion RMB in funds. I've played a variety of major games including PUBG, GetG Mobile, Valorant, Naruto, Spatula Wars, and League of Legends Mobile, each offering unique challenges and exhilarating gameplay experiences. Yes. In addition, social network revenue increased by 2% year on year to RMB 121.5 billion. To be completely honest, the revenue growth rate of Tencent is astonishingly high and truly exceeds my expectations and understanding of typical market performance. Yes, because if you keep it, it's 100%. Some of it is single-digit growth, especially the largest part of it is single-digit growth. While it is true that if you exclusively invest in technology stocks, to be honest, they tend to be relatively weak when you decide to withdraw from them. In the current atmosphere of rapid technological release, everyone, from entrepreneurs to established corporations, is constantly looking forward to discovering how artificial intelligence can effectively monetize their performance or significantly increase the overall efficiency of their business operations. In fact, this expectation will gradually be reflected in the stock price. As for whether the stock price has fully reflected it, the emotion is very difficult to quantify. But let's talk about it.
I'll provide you a discount of 700 on the share price.
Let's look at the quarter. It's just cut to their quarter. Actually, their value-added services are pretty good, increasing by 19% to 44.1 billion. This means they are doing okay. If you are talking about the revenue, this quarter's revenue increased by 14 times, with value-added services increasing by 790%. The quarterly profit from value-added services rose 19-fold to 44.1 billion won.
Well, regarding the advertising business, we can actually take a look at its advertising business. It is expected to grow faster. It is expected that the advertising revenue in the fourth quarter may reach 33.74 billion, which is a 13% increase. In addition, there are various WeChat advertising products, version 3.0, along with several small shops, both of which have the potential to significantly boost the annual revenue growth of the marketing channel.
Everyone wants to see whether it will be a part of their business. Well, if you look at the revenue, the biggest value-added service is financial technology and enterprise services, which will grow by 3%. Marketing services revenue has risen by 17%, totaling $35 billion. As for the profit, financial technology grew by 11%, which is $26.4 billion. Marketing services grew by 10.9%, which is $20.1 billion. That doesn't make sense. Let's see which business is the most profitable. The most lucrative business is marketing services, boasting a gross profit margin of 58%. Following closely are value-added services like games at 56%. Enterprise services and financial technology both have margins around 47%. You've noted various gross profit margins and the layout is shown. Please check the two lines on the right. As you can see from top to bottom, the value-added services have increased by 2 percentage points, which is not low by any means. Marketing services increased by 1 percentage point, and financial technology and enterprise services increased by 3 percentage points. As for other voices, they may contain the following keywords.
Could you kindly repeat the following sentence for me? We have summoned the black smoke, which has the potential to make their business significantly more prosperous and successful than it was previously. Please ensure you are specific in your explanation, but it's essential that you first have a detailed and specific system in place to achieve this. In what ways can you assist them with this process? It seems you are dismissing this particular model. The power of dismissing it lies in the fact that it operates as a logical language model, correct? Yes, I truly don't even know what steps to take next.
Well, according to the specific characteristics outlined, you can effectively utilize various search engines or the comprehensive search engine system to significantly enhance its overall efficiency. By improving this efficiency, you can actually implement more targeted and effective marketing strategies. This can indeed provide the market with ample room for creative imagination and innovative opportunities.
Well, because they actually have WeChat mini stores available, and if you add your products into it, will this help to increase the sales volume and achieve year-on-year growth effectively? But this is just my estimate of what will happen in 2005. In addition, you just mentioned the financial technology companies. In fact, major banks expect their revenue to increase by 1.6% year-on-year to 55.2 billion, and their net income to increase by 7% year-on-year to 12 billion. Generally speaking, it would be beneficial for you to review Tencent's latest performance report once again for a comprehensive understanding of their financial outcomes.
In addition, look at the cash flow system. His cash flow, the free cash flow he generates is 400 million, 4.5 billion. Actually, if you look at this number, its cash flow from operating activities for the quarter is 500. I don't think it matters too much. Everyone knows that cash flow from operating activities. It's no problem to take Tencent's cash, just print the banknotes. However, the largest amount of capital investment involved in providing support for the development of his innovative AI project was $39 billion. Yes. You can easily imagine that developing AI is indeed a complex project that requires substantial investment and significant financial resources. The market will ultimately determine whether it's worth it. Focusing solely on the stock price leads to worry for both me and the market.
Well, no, but the question is, if their AI project is developing and their 390B is unknown, should they not tell DC?
Hey, let go of DC first. Well, because these are primarily just an AI model initially, it's not a unique or original product, as it's not specifically their own proprietary product. What we need to thoroughly examine is how various companies utilize different models or advanced AI technology to effectively benefit specific aspects of their businesses. This process involves analyzing private expenditures, so we need to determine exactly how much it initially cost them to implement these technologies in the first place for optimal results.
Well, since we are talking about AI and we still have some time, in addition to talking about US stocks, I want to talk to you about one more stock. Today, the stock Yuejiang 2432 has seen a significant increase, rising over 20%. Currently, its stock price is up by 6%, indicating prior gains as well. It's worth keeping an eye on this stock for potential further developments. I should have opened it correctly. 24, I opened it correctly. It's not that the channel has increased by more than 20%, but the 7 people in the room he sold are 72 7-count robots, right? I just want to ask you, how many times does this one bark? Double, 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 the beautiful autumn season is here. The current price of Dank is 199,000 yuan. Well, it's primarily due to the remarkable appearance of this innovative robot that everyone feels it's incredibly exciting. Hey, what is this thing? It is 1.53 meters tall and weighs 62 kilograms. It uses a 1.1 human arm and sleeve model and has 41 degrees of freedom throughout the body. Its core technology includes a neural-driven dexterous operating system. In brief, it's essentially just a robot, to put it quite simply. He then explained that a sophisticated robot capable of walking directly on the system is known as AWS, which will result in its energy consumption being 42% lower than that of other walking systems currently available. Therefore, I am eager to develop this groundbreaking robot so that everyone can experience its impressive capabilities firsthand. Do you think the launch of this innovative robot is merely a temporary hype, or perhaps some lesser-known groundbreaking news? Honestly, I feel like I've come across many similar robots while browsing the internet. For instance, I recall that Tesla appeared to have developed a robot of this kind in the past as well.
Please note that this item is not a pre-sale product. Is this a significant technical advancement? Tai it. Well, I always believe that he possesses the remarkable ability to perform tasks similar to those of humans. He can walk on his feet, expertly cook breakfast, efficiently deliver important documents, skillfully grill food, perfectly roast meals, and even hold and dry chicken, among many other impressive capabilities. Oh, I see. Okay. Yes, this is indeed an actual robbery, as it is called. Well, this is certainly all just a specific technical skill that one can learn and develop over time.
It doesn't seem to be written here whether it involves artificial intelligence, but as soon as you start talking about it, you said that it has used 100 different tools to complete more than 100 operational tasks.
Here are the various types of sensors available. Well, it's primarily about the advanced sensor hardware technology. He didn't mention that all of this is unnecessary in mainland China. It's neither simple nor complicated or difficult. It's not difficult to understand. If you take a closer look at all the various drones produced by DJI, you will clearly see that their widespread application and usage in China is very mature and well established.
Yes. Eh? Oh, okay, they have fried yuejiang, but they didn't fry it themselves, so remember to eat it. Yes, but when I was drinking tea every day and heard the grandmothers talking about being excited by the workers, wouldn't you think that robots are enough? It's not what you just said. In fact, if you add some robots to the scene, won't the unemployment rate be very high?
What do you think? Your role isn't counted in the unemployment rate.
Oh no, except for the quiet workers, such as the waiters who make milk tea. If all of them are replaced, these industries will really have another chance to taste better. Yes, it has suddenly become like this, but these things are standardized.
Yes.
Well, but let's look at it now. If you are talking, since it is actually just a new stock, I will treat it as new. Does it count as a new stock? It should be semi-new stock. It's early December of the 24th year, specifically on December 23rd. December 23rd feels just the same as before.
It's a deserted place. I'm observing him closely, but he's not losing weight. It's not that high. You have truly worked very hard. It was quite challenging during the first half of the year, especially before your birthday.
The environment is filled with hype, where talking a certain way is perceived as trendy. I want to shift the focus to the US stock market. We're discussing the dynamics of rising and falling markets. What are your thoughts on the current state of the US stock market? In fact, there has been a correction in the recent few rows. Do you think this correction is healthy or not? Another question is, in fact, many people think so. If you really want this kind of correction method, then buy some ETFs, because the lower the price, the better. The chance may be low, but you cannot predict the outcome. ETF purchases depend on the opportunity cost and dollar cost averaging methods. Now, there is a correction in the US stock market. What do you think? Is this considered normal and healthy?
Not everything can be dollar cost averaged, not all ETFs. Well, you can effectively use ETFs, for example, to manage and facilitate monthly payments. Additionally, you can handle this investment strategy yourself if you choose not to set a specific monthly salary for withdrawals. This insight is based on my personal experience. If you don't establish a fixed monthly salary, it can be quite flexible. You will never succeed in executing it.
You may perceive negative market sentiment and hesitate to buy, waiting for prices to drop further before acting.
Yes, but if you ask me a question, do you think the market will finish falling or recover? I am not too worried about its current trend. Hey, to be honest, I bought a lot of things in the evening. Yes, I got these positions, but I was mentally prepared. I had to fight for it. You can't expect that you can immediately withdraw it from MVD and turn it back to $150 after buying it. I don't think anything will happen this month. The recent market sentiment is not good for the stock market. Yeah, but are you telling me that the market is really worried about the US economic recession? I'm not particularly worried about this situation because, on the contrary, the market seems to be increasingly concerned that geopolitical tensions may escalate further, particularly regarding Russia, whose issues remain unresolved. Indeed, Russia is closely tied to the US dollar's stability. What Donald Trump desires is a genuine ceasefire, and he must take action to halt the bombing of certain civilian areas and vital energy facilities to alleviate the ongoing crisis. Okay. The two sides mutually agreed to cease all attacks on specific energy facilities to ensure safety. Well, some people may worry that the relationship between the United States and Europe will get worse and worse, but this may not be the case. Of course, this will not lead to geopolitical concerns, but it will lead to some concerns about trade, thereby exacerbating inflation. But of course, these treasured old stories can be returned to Hong Kong as soon as they are told, so let's just follow their journey for now. I believe the US stock market is the only one you can confidently invest in until the end of the year, especially as it returns to a certain level. When considering major markets, there seems to be no other that would provide the same sense of security for the remainder of the year. I will continue to hold the Hong Kong stocks until the year's end. If you currently have no position and end the year holding 25,000 points, you'll receive an additional 20%. A similar bonus applies for 30,000 points. I believe that US stocks have a better chance of rising by 20% compared to Hong Kong stocks, based solely on live rate perspectives. Well, if you say so, our topic today is just a conversation. Does the correction of the US stock market seem to be unfinished? There is a chance that it is not over yet. I will talk about it later. But let me teach you that you use the dollar cost averaging method. You can slowly invest in ETFs. If you don't want to sleep at night, it means that we are in daylight saving time now, starting at 9:30. You explore ETFs in the US stock market at night, right? My expertise is in the Hong Kong stock market, where I focus on Hong Kong stock ETFs. I previously mentioned one to you. The S&P 500 index ETF measures approximately 3.95 meters. Tie it. I'm going to use the SP 500 and it's on the same surface. We all have the same style.
You see, its trend is so bad and you ask me to sell it? Which blank index? Yes, you can wait and see first because I don't care. Now that it has fallen sharply, I will try to buy some ETFs slowly. I just buy ETFs. I don't particularly care about any US stocks. 7 reds, that's fine. Just keep an ETF and buy everything for me.
Well, one is the NASDAQ 100 index and the other is NASDAQ 1, which represents the S&P 500 index.
I also feel that you really have the S&P 500 the longest, so you can't go wrong with it. Yes. You see, there is a website where you can follow it. Yes. So everyone can take another look at the S&P. No, sorry. To be honest, we can tell you more about the information of other ETFs next week. Our delightful show today is almost over. Jerry, please remember to arrive a little earlier next time so we have more time to chat and discuss things in detail. In light of the current circumstances, we would like to take this opportunity to say goodbye to everyone gathered here. We look forward to seeing all of you again next Wednesday. Farewell for now.